What's going on, everybody? The usual Mako back with another Shark Scale video today, and this one's going to be a doozy. But before we get into that, if you want to see me talk about anime or play a bunch of very fun games live, you can check out the Twitch link down below in the description. I would really appreciate it. We're live like Monday through Friday over there. We have a lot of fun, a bunch of really cool people, so you should go check it out. I'd appreciate it. That being said, let's go ahead and just get ready to start talking about Juni Taisen. Now, this is one that I watched because I actually had seen the manga for it in a store. It looked really cool. And I was like, well, they didn't, the Barnes & Noble I was at did not have volume 1. So I was like, you know what, I'll just go ahead and watch it. Watched it, and it's a 12 episode, completely finished. Whole story's done. And it's an interesting one. So we're going to be grading it as we always do. Every one of these categories, we're going to give a score out of 100. And at the end, we are going to tally it all or average it all together to give us our total average score out of 100. And then we'll place it on the ranking. So we've got first up characters. Now, the entire premise of the show here, I'm gonna try to avoid some spoilers as much as I can. Entire premise of the show is every 12 years there are, the 12 Chinese zodiacs, and they're all different families, and one person from each family is picked to represent them in the zodiac war, which they all fight each other to the death. Last man standing wins and gets any wish in the world. You can wish for one thing, you can wish for literally anything for that wish. So it's just a fight to the death between all these, the 12 families of the Zodiac, and each character has a very unique ability that is part of their family, or what have you, like the boar, the dog, the rat, the monkey, all of them are in this, and all of them have their own special ability, and they all get some decent screen time to showcase those abilities. I think the characters are really well done. They're interesting. Their abilities are all unique. Most of them, I shouldn't say all of them, most of them have, a little something up their sleeve for this war. And we don't get long enough. It's only 12 episodes, so we don't have long enough to, really get some good depth on the character development. But I think they're really, really entertaining, and kind of one of the biggest reasons that I enjoyed parts of this show is due to the characters and how fun they are to watch and see what they do next. So I'm going to give the characters a pretty decent score here. I think we're in the 80s, and I'm going to go 83 is a fair score, I think. That's not the right, what the hell? 83 I think is fair. They're good. Like I said, if there was a little more time to get a little bit more backstory and depth, probably be a little higher, but 83, once again, 70 is average, so pretty well above average. Next up, we've got the story. This is where things are gonna take a hit here. It is very good, interesting, has a very, very nice twist on episode 11. The second to last episode, there's a fun little twist. You're like, oh, wait, that's actually really cool. So, you put all your faith in the writers, and then episode 12 happens. And episode 12 it was the most disappointing thing that I have watched with my eyeballs on a television screen since Hunter x Hunter. And if you have watched the Hunter x Hunter video, or have been in my live streams at all, you know that whenever I hear Hunter x Hunter, I go on a fucking rant about it because of my disappointment with the show. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not nearly as disappointed in this show because I wasn't nearly as enjoying this show as I was with Hunter x Hunter. Hunter x Hunter was potential top 3, top 5 all time. This show was just good. It was just a good show that got absolutely hosed on the last episode. Once again, episode 11, there's such a fun twist that made it really exciting. It made it feel like the buildup of the entire war that you watched was worth it. And then when they get to the 12th episode, which is the wish episode, where the winner has to make a wish, you would have to try very, very hard to write a worse ending to a show. You'd have to try super hard. There have been some bad endings to shows. Don't get me wrong. You would have to try to do worse than this show. That's for sure. It is just crazy. So I'm not going to spoil what it is, obviously, but the story is going to take a huge hit because of that. I can't dock it all the way because, like I said, everything up to that point was pretty good. But when it's a show that's over and it doesn't end in a great place, it's hard to do more. You can't give it that much credit. The ending means a lot. So I'm going to put it at a flat, 40. Flat 40, I think might even be more than it might deserve because of how trash the ending is. But it is what it is. The world, I think the world is great. Like I said, the whole concept of, every 12 years you get a Zodiac War where you get one representative from each family. The winner gets their wish, blah, blah, blah. It's really cool. And it's the concept of that kind of world is really interesting and intriguing. But it suffers from the same problem that every short anime, like 12 episodes or less, suffers from. There is no time to flesh it out. There's no backstory on why the world is like this, why they're doing this every 12 years, what started it. There's just no time to go through that stuff. But in general, I think it's pretty good. So I'm going to give it, just slight. Can we go in between there? Just slightly above average at a 72. If they were able to flesh it out a lot more, if there was just more time to do it, I think it has a lot of potential to be a really good world building type of show, but there's just not enough time. The music / OST soundtrack, pretty good from what I remember. The intro was nothing crazy and the outro was nothing crazy, but it didn't take away from the show. And the fight scene stuff was okay. I don't think it was the best soundtrack by any means, but it didn't really make me I don't think it took away from anything, which means we're gonna give it a juicy, 70, perfectly average. I don't think there was anything bad about it, but nothing that really popped out as being wow, this is crazy. So right in the middle. Next up, we have the animation. Animation style was good. Fight scenes were really good. I liked the choreography. I don't know if I can where I would dock points for this, but maybe I should have done that in story. But oh well, it's not too late. I could go back and change story to be even lower. But the choreography in the fights was so good. But the longest fight in the show is 2 minutes max. It just, you get really hyped and excited because you're oh my God, this is actually really cool. This is a really good fight. It's animated super well. It's easy to follow. It's great. And then it's over. And you're well, what the fuck? What the hell? So I can't really knock points off animation because I think the animation was really, really good. They didn't show it off as much as I would have liked. I'm not going to go in the 80s for it. I think that's a bit aggressive. We're going to go 87, or I'm not going to go in the 90s for it, I meant. We are going to go in the 80s. I'm going to give it an 87. I'm not going to go back and dock points off. Yeah, I will. I think that's fair to knock off a few more. We'll do a 36. Just because it's a point I wanted to mention, and thinking back on it, the fights were not nearly long enough to be super satisfying. No matter how good the animation and everything else was. So anyway, on to the overall enjoyment. This is going to take another massive hit because it's hard to enjoy a show when it ends the way that this one did. So unsatisfying, unfulfilled. There's a gaping hole where I was watching this show that's just never going to be filled. And it's just so sad because, like I said, you watch the second to last episode and you think, wow, this final episode when we get this wish is going to be crazy because they just made an insane twist. It was really good writing. They did a great job. And then it happens and I'm not kidding. I was sitting on the couch and I verbally out loud said, "Is this a joke?" I thought I was being pranked. I was expecting cameras to pop out, and I thought I was going to be on the show pranked, hidden camera show. But no, it was real. And it made it one of the least enjoyable things I can think of, because of the fact that it was so unsatisfying. At least with Hunter x Hunter, the Chimera Ant arc is kind of the last arc, but it's not. You have a little bit at the end with Killua's family, so that sour taste in your mouth is kind of, there's a little bit of sugar in there at the end. You get a little bit because the Zoldyck arc at the end is really good. Her Killua's sister and all that, it's a great arc. It was good, it was entertaining, it was fun. So you get a little bit. But with this one, it just flat out stops. There's nothing that's ever going to be changed about it. Nothing will ever be added to it. There's no hope for anything. You can't continue the manga after it. It is over. Which made it so fucking sad. So sad. And I cannot, like, in good conscience, give this anything over where it's sitting right now at this 30. I can't do it. So, we're going to keep it at a 30. Fuck, maybe I can, because To Be Heroine is one of the most awful shows I've ever watched in my life. It should be lower than a 54.3. I mean, I guess my rankings there are still pretty fair for the most part, but OE should be a little lower, I think. Anyway, I will adjust this one to make it slightly higher, just out of the good conscience that I have. But yeah, just rough. So let's go ahead and add these up and see where that's going to put us for an overall score. It is not going to be moving very much. I can tell you that right now. That 33 is rough. A 63.5 average. 63, that's not the point. 0.5. There we go. Out of, okay. 100. Oh my God, it actually isn't moving anywhere. It's staying in the exact same spot. That is very convenient for me. I did not plan this. Wow. So yeah, that's where Juni Taisen is. It had a lot of potential. Obviously, it takes a big hit in the story department, and because it takes a massive hit there, it takes a huge hit in my overall enjoyment because of just the ending being so brutal. But there we have it. That's Juni Taisen. I really do recommend watching it just so you can, I would say just watch it up to episode 11 and then stop. Assume that's the end of it and then make up your own ending. Make up your own wish, because anything you can make up would be better than what happens. So just, I would say watch it episode 11 and then stop after that. But yeah, anyways, that's it for this video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. I doubt a lot of you have seen this, but if you have, let me know what your thoughts were, because it's pretty crazy. So thank you all. Hopefully you all have a wonderful rest of your day. Love each and every one of your faces. I will catch you all in the next video.